throughout my content, I've spoke quite openly about people being toxic, and really, it's better to let go of certain people in our life to really evolve and grow. And even if people end up healing, do you need them back in your life? That's the thing. I think often people they reminisce the past too much, so maybe they read through so other people's text messages so many times. They just struggle to let the past stay in the past. So, like the way I see life in general, really is like we have so many chapters to our journey, and yeah, sometimes things can come back. Sometimes that is the path. I think most of the time, though, if something happened in the past, then you just leave that whole incident there and the people there. I just think you move on because when you keep trying to bring the past back, all you're doing is mixing it with the present. You're muddying the present and you're complicating the future. And it's just there's no need for it. If you've had an experience, you've had an experience. Let's move on to the next one. So, what inevitably happens there, though, is you'll have people who struggle to let go. They struggle to acknowledge really the path you're on. So you're looking to move forward. You had enough. You're just moving on, doing this. But there'll always be someone who latches on to the past, though. So they want to pull you back in, and they just can't understand the fact that you have no interest in their mind. You must be interested still, or something, and it's like really not. Now, one thing that gets said about me quite a lot about people that know me is I'm for instance, my sister said it a long time ago. Like, think how many people you meet in life, for instance, and they said I am the most stubborn person they've ever met. I thought that's harsh. When I thought about it, I thought yeah, because they elaborate and just said like if you don't want to do something, you just won't do it. And yeah, yeah, that's true. And then as I go through life, I just recognise that's stayed with me a little bit. Like I've recognised how stubborn I am. I think in my opinion, it's quite beautiful because it allows me to keep pushing forward. I don't see the point of bringing the past forward. What we're doing, we're just wasting time. So those who I respect and appreciate, I will value. I'll travel to the end of the earth for them. Someone who disrespects me, I would say continually, because sometimes you can deal with a little bit of disrespect. An incident, I don't want people to feel like you're flaky in a sense, because that's not the case at all. But I'm getting to the point in life where I think once you start arguing with people consistently, it's like, I don't need that in my life. Why would I want to spend my life arguing and shouting and being like, why would you want to have a messy life in that sense? It's like, I'd rather not. So some people might think because you're not prepared to do that, that maybe you're flaky. But it's like, no, I have high standards. Clearly, if someone's meant for me, we shouldn't be arguing that to that degree. And if our values don't align, then we're not meant for each other anyway. So it's all these little things. One of the hardest things to let go is family. And especially the more you start clearing out family from your life, it gets a bit more, it gets lonely to a degree because it's usually your core, your safety net, places to go, I guess, people to talk to. And not everybody has family in the first place. So, but one of the things I recognise, if you get married one day, on your side, maybe there's not so many people, but that doesn't bother me. I don't like that. The idea that you have to keep people in your life just because you need a quota. It's like, no way. So you might meet someone who has an incredible family dynamic. They're not toxic. Again, might have the issue here and there, but it's nothing so huge. And from their point of view, maybe they think, because this is the way people are a lot of the time. They think you should make peace with your side, and I can understand them thinking that, but some things, it's impossible. It genuinely is. The only way I could make peace with people I've let go is to lower my values and allow lower vibration people in my life, and it's something I will not do. So I understand it might be uncomfortable, but I can deal with uncomfortable. So like I thought I've been talking about toxicity so much. I mention it, but maybe people are not aware that the level of toxicity or what I mean when I say it. And I thought this is one of those things that are going to irritate the living shit out of people in my life, because I'm going to have to draw upon personal experience. Otherwise, how do I explain it? Now, there's different levels, of course, but it's like, what is your standard? What do you live by, and what do you want for your life? I don't want drama. I just don't want chaos, and I don't want people who have sort of no drive in their life. People just, they've just given up altogether. It's like, this sort of shit doesn't wash with me. It's no good. And there's so many different dynamics. It's going to be really hard to go deep without looking like I'm just hammering the living shit out of one individual, because a lot of the time it's not one thing, it's a multitude of things, and it progressively gets worse. And you already see a pattern leading up to the present. You just realize how bad it's going to get in the future. It's like, I can't, it has to end. So if we go on a basic level, and this isn't the reason why at all, but it was the nail in the coffin for me. So let's start with the nail in the coffin because it covers everybody, which I think is fair. Um, is the fact that I've spent a good few years writing my books. Now, I love my books and I know the right audience, the right hands. It will help uplift their lives. It will help them look at, reflect, and it'll make an impact. I know that. So, people in my life, you would think, at the core, the very initial audience would be people in your life. You would initially, that's what you'd think. You don't expect it if you do multiple books, everyone's going to buy every single book, of course, but at least buy one book, surely. If you have an interest, you'd at least be interested in at least having one of my, and at least share it with people. Only because I say that, because that's what I would do for someone. So if that's something I would do for someone, especially family member, why haven't they done that for me? Now, this isn't the only reason, but it does become a big factor later on because when you're at your bottom and you're struggling and you're really struggling and you've invested everything into it, like I'm always investing in it. I don't give up. It's like, where are they when I need them? Like I'm at my rock bottom. No one helps. Or I say no one. One very special person does. And no one else bothers. They don't. So this is the thing. We can go further than this, even the books. We'll start with the books though. But you'd think at the base level, somewhat they would buy the books, even just one, and you would promote it on your social media because I'm more active on social media than I am on other platforms that I don't like. And that'd have been a great boost of help, wouldn't it? Didn't even bother. It's not like they can't afford it either. And then if you go a little bit further than that, we start going, okay, my finances are hard. Okay, sometimes my own doing. But what people don't realize is the level of trauma I carry in my daily life. Um, I wouldn't say it's unhealed, but it's continuously healing. So I get held to a high standard, and I talk about it an awful lot when I meet new people, for instance. Because because I can articulate and I have intelligence, I'm held to a high standard. Everyone I know always expects more of me than perhaps they should. Now I know I can achieve whatever it is, but doesn't make it easy, and I'm the one that carries the trauma. So again, I'm talking firsthand, like from people close to me now at this point, because it's always best to start close, then you start to go further out. So I'm the one that had to fight for a year and a half for my daughter through family court. It required an awful lot of travel. It was, 500 miles each day, really, because it's 250 miles away. So there and back's 500 miles. So it's a huge journey, huge undertaking. A whole day of driving each time just to get to court appearances and all sorts of things. And spending time with her was even more of a crazy, wacky races sort of like journey. Um, and again, it's like you're in a crisis. You can't really afford it. You can't afford anything because literally everything's just going into these travels. And it's like, I can't afford, in that situation, I was like a breakdown. I was like a shell of who I am. My life is torn. All I have is this situation, is my daughter. It's just, you've had your life ripped apart from you. And I mean, unless you've been in it, you won't truly understand the tragedy that it is. A lot of guys get stereotyped as being just the breadwinners. They're not that caring. They don't really have a deep connection to their children. It turns out in this situation, I have more of a connection than her mother, and that's not being cruel. If you read my books, you listen to my story, you'll understand the depths of it. Um, so for me, it was like having my heart yanked out my chest and told to just carry on living and getting on with life. And it's like, no chance in hell. I can't do anything until she's home. I'm lost. And it's like, you wouldn't understand the emptiness unless you was in it or you saw it. I'm not someone that typically cries, so I cried in the doctor's office when I spoke to the doctors about things. They were concerned for me because one of the things they said, well, it never made me reflect. So, for instance, before all that, I had to help my ex-partner, again, another incredibly toxic person. I don't want to keep deviating because I'm going to lose track. But this is someone who needed my support for a very long time, then took me for granted and then blamed me for any issue they had. That's effectively what that was. I gave so much to them, it's crazy. All the support. I lost a lot of money in the process by not being able to sort of like work in the process. There's so many things, again, my books cover a lot of that. So my opinion of them isn't very high at all, especially considering the trauma they put me through after, effectively almost leaving me for dead, really, in a circumstance. And even now in the coffin by accusing me of things that weren't true, so which I fought back against. So, yeah, that's not really someone I have a lot of endearing thought about. So then you go through that crisis and you think, who's there for me? Like, who's truly there for me? My stepdad, my mum, yeah, they were definitely there. Like, I even cried when I got home and when I got back to theirs and things. It was hard. But like I said at the doctor's office, that one thing they said to me is, you've always been there for, like, for instance, my ex-partner, you've always been there supporting them, but who's there for you? Who was there supporting you? And that just made me cry, because I just thought, like, I'm always the one supporting me. It's a heavy burden to carry. And like I say, you still carry trauma. It's like, I'm strong, but I mean, like, I'm just shifting. I'm not going to show my tarot cards, but I'll just show the one card that, I'm just like, yeah. So what I want to do actually, before we go off too far, is I was going to do tarot cards at the end about specific people and we'll see what happens. But I didn't want to muddy this video with tarot, so I just want to explain toxicity a little bit here, just to show the journey to where we get to. So I don't have a lot. I never really had a lot of support for it. One of my sisters acted like they were supportive, but it was only later on you saw the depths of that support. So they'd come to family court with me, do the travel, stay in the hotel. You think they're doing it because they care and it's beautiful. Like, you're thinking, thank you so much. Then there was a moment when I really, really needed them, and they made plans to go to the pub instead, so they couldn't make it. So I had to rush around trying to find someone else, even though they were supposed to come with me. So they wouldn't come because they had this. They wanted to go to the pub, and it was upon that moment, and I started watching more. I realized they was only doing it to run away from the life they have. They didn't want to spend time with their kids and things. They're going to get pissed off me saying that, but I don't really care because it's the truth. And if they want to look and reflect deep in their life, they'll know that I'm telling the truth. People just want to sugarcoat shit, and I'm not a sugarcoater. So effectively, all those times I thought they were helping me, they weren't. They were just getting away from it. I mean, look, to put it into perspective, there was a time when she came with her son, who was about similar age to my daughter, just slightly younger. At the time, around about 6. My daughter was just about 7. And we're walking to get to collect my daughter, spend some time with her, because I had to have someone accompany. It was a whole stupid setup. And he like bit her arm while they're walking. Like, me and my daughter don't have a relationship like that. It's like, that's outrageous. I have high standards and I do hold people accountable. So it's like the way I've taught my daughter as she's grown up, manners and behavior patterns and things. This was outrageous, And she's frantically on the phone to her partner, like, you're gonna have to come and get him. We're all the way 250 miles away. He ain't no one coming and get him. But it was just outrageous, So from that, you look at that, you go into the pub. Clearly, you was only coming to get away from them in the end. That incident. I don't want to dig into it, but it was like, okay, I'll give you higher praise than you deserved. Then you look at my life. I know this is like a pity party thing, but it's not. It's like when you're at your lowest, you find out who's really there for you. And I think that's what I'm trying to show people. This isn't saying they owe me anything, but I definitely don't owe them a damn thing. So who's phoning me to see if I'm okay? I'm alone, very alone. I mean, it's incredible. Again, unless you're there, you'll never know the trauma. Going back to an empty home each time where everything is as it was. It's similar to people dying. It really is. I felt like it was like a car crash. That's what it feels like. You return and you've got to try and rebuild somehow. Like, do you even want to? How much energy do you have? It's a whole reset. It takes you minutes. That's why I understand when people are at the lowest, I can relate. I know what you feel like. But my focus was always my daughter. That I would never fail her. That was my driving force throughout all of it. It was like she was literally, I'm getting goosebumps now, but she was it. Every focus of my energy. I was even getting healthier. I was doing it all for her, I was like literally exercising. I was like losing more weight. Everything was improving in that sense because I wanted to be the best model for her, I want to be literally what she could look at and be a role model for her. So I'm going to fight tooth and nail for her. I'm not going to give up. I'm going to get my life back on track. And I'm just going to be everything that I should be in this life for her to have a positive example, because God forbid she has the example of her mother. Now, I don't want to go down a path like that, but I'm going to bite my tongue with her from now on. Try my best. Yeah, the shit she's put us through, man. So anyway, you look at it and you think, okay, it's tough, but I'm getting myself out of bed. I'm fighting through court, so I'm sort of like doing the statements. I'm trying to sift through, make evidence. I'm trying to do everything I can. Again, focus. but I couldn't like get benefits and things. Like I've got family members who got benefits for everything, and they wouldn't even have problems. They were just lying. I was walking around with sunglasses on, so the world didn't see me crying. It's just that's my level. I go to an assessment and I get declined because I could drive a car. Because I drove a car to the appointment, it's a manual gearbox. It shows that you use cognitive, And I thought this is a joke, mate. I've got even freaking function. I've only come to this appointment because I had to come to this appointment. Then I'm going home. It's rarely do people see me for a period of time, for a good couple of months. It's like rarely do people really see me. And it's like you're expected to go and socialize in a workplace environment and things. It's like you're having a laugh. And that's the way again, I've got a huge problem with the whole system in that sense. But without deviating in that path, it's who's there for you. Okay, you're going through an emotional crisis, huge psychological issues at that point. I'm strong. I'm not like freaking. Again, I'm intelligent. So that goes against me because you're strong and resilient. You can handle it. Well, ain't that nice? It doesn't mean it was easy handling it. Could you not? Anyway, so who's phoning to check in on me? My mum. My mum. You're gonna hear about my mum an awful lot throughout this because she's been like my guardian angel. I actually wrote about her in my book Heartbroken Daughter. I said she's my wings when I need to fly. I felt she deserved a chapter dedicated to her, and you never know how long your parents are here for. And I wanted her to see that how much she's meant to me for it all. Like me and my mum, our family, we're not really like cuddly people. The only person I cuddle is my daughter. It's something that I just feel natural to, but it's like the rest of us, we don't really bother. And it's like, so don't really show it. And I wanted her to hear it. So yeah, you'll hear nice hope as we go. I don't know if it depends if we deviate in that path, but believe me, she's been the one that I can talk to when I know to. I could phone her now and she'll pick up the phone and we'll talk. I talk to her most days, just even random stuff. We'll have a laugh, be silly, talk about other things, and maybe if there's an issue. So really, I have a relationship with my mum just like my daughter has with me. That's what we have. It's just a knock-on effect, I guess. But apart from her, who checked in on me when I was going through a crisis? No one. I'm struggling to pay the bills that were left behind. I was covered in debt. Like literally, my ex-partner, for instance, I had got something on credit because I was looking. We was just as that moment, I was rebuilding, trying to get my credit together. I just got something, and I was making the payments on time, and it was like, great, this is finally a credit facility I can use. And she got jealous because I got like an iPad, but we could all share the iPad. She wanted her own iPad, so I get her an iPad. And then my mum had to lend, I can't remember what it was. My mum lent us some money for some, I don't know if it's the rent or council tax. I can't remember what it was. And like, because our finances are together, So like, if I get this and my ex gets my ex partner at the time partner, she gets that. We're trying to figure out where the money is. So obviously, she got her money coming in. I got money coming in. It was her money that was coming next. So that was the thing that was going to pay for something specifically or something. But we needed to pay it earlier. So my mum was lending us it, and then it's like, but are we going to be able to pay it back? And she's like, yeah. We pay it back at the weekend, or we pay it back. And it's like, okay. So bear in mind, she's made me get these iPads and freaking this debt to my mum. And then it was only just days after that she took our daughter away. She was only supposed to be gone for 3 days because we was going through a crisis period. It was like ups and downs for a period of time. But yeah, she did. It was mean. It was cruel the way she left. And she left me with a lot of debts on top of all the other stuff, Before we go there, I just want to show sometimes there's a pattern of behavior you can look for. And my hindsight is a beautiful thing, isn't it? There was a period just before she took her when I wanted to get away from the home for a moment. It was toxic. It was getting to the point where it's just horrible being around her. Like she's always making everything difficult. I'm not saying I was perfect. I was probably just as culpable in that position because we just, we're not liking each other so much anymore. People know what it's like at the end of a relationship. So I was like, right, I'm just going to get McDonald's. And then I took my daughter with us, and she's, for some reason she was panicking. When you hindsight, you think, what was that about? And now you know. She didn't want me taking her with me. And I said, what are you talking about? We're just going to the McDonald's and we come back. And then she wanted to come with me. So like, we're just going to do that. It was in hindsight, she thought, because she had already been planning to relocate her completely. It's obviously at that moment she was terrified I was doing the same thing because narcissists are like that, They think you're going to do. I just went McDonald's. Even though we weren't getting on, I still bought her McDonald's. she was surprised. She goes, "Oh, you got me something?" I go, "Of course I got you something. I'm not going to eat in front of you without you having something." Do you know what I mean? I think this just shows the levels they wouldn't have done. She was like that. I just don't want to go too crazy. Like you'd go round the shop, for instance, and you'd be buying things. Of course, you're doing shopping together. She put herself in cakes and stuff, like, for herself, but she never. It's like these little things add up to me. Like it's character, If I was buying something, I would. If I'm in a relationship with someone and we're going shopping together, and I'm getting a cake, I would make it clear to the other person I'm getting a cake. Oh yeah, I'm going to get this. Is there anything you want? Like it's fair. It's like they're just putting things in without you knowing. So effectively, when you get home, it's like now they've got loads of shit and you've got nothing. It's like, wait a minute, how hard is it to communicate? And that's the sort of character she was. As long as she's okay, nothing matters. And it's like, that is not my vibe. This isn't my vibe. So yeah, a lot of it stems around my trauma watching people. So, people have like, this is the way to look at it. I know it's very self-serving, all this, but there's a point to it. When you live alone, it's so hard to, like, you've got all responsibility. There's no hiding. When you're in a relationship, for instance, there's two incomes, so you've got a bit more flexibility. So everybody in my family, for instance, had like partners and things. They were never, none of them were struggling like I was. And they could have, I'm not asking for loads of money, but they could have at least asked. I'm not someone that likes to have off people anyway. I'm not really like that. I don't ask. The only one that supports me is my mum, like I said. But yeah, the others, they never ever bothered asking. There was a couple of incidents again. This is what I'm talking about. Over a prolonged period of time, it just reached the point we've had enough, There was a time when I relocated 2020 and my sister's like, "Oh yeah, I'll come and help you. I'll come and help you." And it cost me a lot of money to go and see her because like she lives locally, but not locally. So she's still about half an hour away or so, 40 minutes away. And I ain't got a lot of money and I've got to pick her up and then bring her to mine. Then I've got to take her back home, then come home. It's a whole process here. They just see it as you picking her up and taking her home. No, I've got to go to you, bring you to mine, take you back and then come home. That's like twice the journeys. That's crazy. And they're not going to pay petrol. This is the thing I was dealing with. So like I've got little money, they got more. And there was a time as well, before we go to that one, is I took her and her partner and her son to the shop because their car was broke down. So I drove all the way to theirs, took them to Tesco's, and then I had to obviously drop them back off and then go home. And they weren't even offering any petrol at all. I was like, "You're having a laugh, mate. I'm helping you and you can't even help me. I haven't even got much." It was a whole palaver. You're just thinking, you people are crazy. Like I'm just getting fed up here. And there was a time when my sister come with me and I was trying to like get some like just to do the painting and shit. And she's suggesting this and this and this. And I'm like, I haven't got the money for all this. I'll just have to get the basic for now and then I'll get more later. But she never offered. I know some people are just really weird with money. There was another time when, again, similar period, she wanted me to take her to shops because she likes going to shops. Again, like if her husband's at work, she's got nothing to do. Come and get it and we go shop. And I'm like, I haven't got any money. I don't get anything until Monday. I haven't got anything at all. Don't worry, I'll lend it to you. And then obviously he just gives it back later then. And so you pick her up, take her to shops. She says nothing about it, and then she acts like she didn't know. She didn't say that, and you're like, I can't deal with people like this shit. It's toxic. That if you don't think any of this is toxic, I think it's toxic as shit. This is not what I want in life at all. These are not my people. And you try to give them a chance after chance because they're family members. Now, this is the same family member who wanted to go to the pub instead of helping me go to the family call. Okay, that's your choice. But clearly you weren't doing it to help me because that's ridiculous. Whatever. They're not there when you're struggling. All these little things here where I'm trying to help. It's just ridiculous. It's like, it's costing me. It's costing me to help you with this shit. And I think it was last year we went on holiday with my family. So we went Crete 2 times, like one 2023 and 2024. So 2023, a few of us went, and in 2024, a couple of extra people come. And it was like, this has been nice. So lazy, it was unbelievable. I don't want to go on to the laziness, but it was really what happened towards the end of the holiday. So we were waiting for this coach. We're actually on a street. It's just where the location was. We're waiting for this coach to turn up and put our bags on. But the driver was getting you could see he was stressed because he weren't sure the bags were going to fit. And it was like, oh, this is great. And for someone who has mobility, they've got mobility issues now. But I would say supposedly it wasn't as bad maybe a year ago. I don't know. But all of a sudden they were moving like, I don't know if you know Mario, we've got the star. He just starts running like crazy. She's that now, suddenly she's moving like freaking anything. She's doing the Olympics because now her bag magically ends up in the freaking coach. First one of the lot of us, and it's a group of us. And she's the first one trying to get on. She's trying to get on this coach. Um, yeah. So anyway, that just show that for me that just typifies the character of people. You know, it's all just about them, isn't it? There's other things that happen. I'm not going to sort of dig any further. I could go further with it. Um, but for me, that's that person finished. They did a lot of things, other things. So it's a case of when you look at people and you think toxic people in your life, even if they heal, it's like, I don't need it anymore. I've given you enough. I've given you enough of my time. So the point really there is, this is why I say I don't owe anyone anything. At my lowest, in a genuine crisis, when you hear the money side there and the hard times, that doesn't even explain the trauma that's still there, the emptiness in my life. That's me just trying to get my life back together, but I've still got an emptiness in my life. I'm still like, had my heart pulled out of my chest. And I've just relocated somewhere a bit foreign, really, but it's like, I'm getting on with it. So my point really there is, let's say I'm successful in the future. I deserve to be successful in the future. It's self-made. It's like these same people, I'm sure, will be the first to start acting like they're my best friend. Like let's say you had to move abroad because it's a career opportunity. Let's say you had a nice big house. None of that means anything to me. I'm just gravitating to where my career is pulling me, and opportunities because I want to do the best things in life. But let's say it is that that was just like it's just part of life. For me, it's just growth. It's a building towards. To them, it's more like a holiday. Like, oh yeah, we get to come and see. We'll come and see you. You ain't coming anywhere near my home. What are you talking about? You ain't even coming anywhere near my home now, let alone freaking later. Jesus, that's another thing. So I relocated 2020. None of them have really come to visit my home. Now, I don't really like visitors most of the time anyway, to be totally honest, especially ones I deem toxic. So, yeah, I don't really care. But overall, you just look at the pattern. That's a toxic person to me. And all the connections involved with them have similar personalities. Because I could start digging out other people in that dynamic, but I'd say that like the ones associated on their side are very similar to each other. So there's no point me just picking apart them all. It's just saying they're just all together. That's finished to me. Then I've got another sister who she has more money than the rest. So that one was on benefits, but they claim all the benefits. They literally get everything: PIP, ESA, anything you can think of. They're not struggling. And then their partner does other work as well. So they're doing well for themselves, even if sketchy. And again, no drive, no ambition. Then you've got the other sister who is, I think they get themselves in debt, to be totally honest, because they have they've tried to live a more extravagant lifestyle. But either way, they've never really tried. They always have nice things. They don't go out. Again, if you go far enough back, we was on holiday in Florida back in my early mid-20s, I guess. I think I went twice. So one was in the mid-20s, and one was like when I was about 18. And she is, I think this was the 20s one. Well, both times really. It's always her way or no way. So she won't deviate her plans for anyone. So, for instance, my stepdad got he injured his knee. He was playing volleyball on the beach. He slipped, and I think his knee was already weak. And I don't know what happened. It snapped. Something happened. He was in so much pain, so he had to go to the hospital. And I didn't have a car. It was his hire car, and my brother-in-law had a hire car. So I had to drive the hire car, my stepdad's hire car, to sort of like pick him up from the hospital and drive him. We had appointments after that, and that was our holiday, So we still had to do a few things in between, but we had to make sure he had to his appointments. So it was all on holiday, and I'm taking my holiday out to go and help because like my sister would not at all. She was always like, no, we've got plans today, and all this shit, and it's like, this is hard to watch, Yeah, we've got to do all this, And effectively, it was always like whatever their plan was could not be disrupted. And it shows me when you're at the bottom with people, it's like, what is their character? That's what I want. I want to know, who are you at your core? When times get hard, how do you behave? Because that isn't something I find endearing at all. Now, that's only one side of it all, but a lot of our family members have always said we'd never go on holiday with her ever again because people have seen sides to her that they just think that's outrageous. I couldn't be with it. And that same thing still goes to some of my other family members as well. Like, I can't go with you again, can't go with you again. It's like, we had an experience, let's leave it there. But yeah, she's never checked it. She doesn't check in on me either. She's the one that go, hey, bro, I love you so much, and it's like, this is all fake shit though. You're just saying it. And even if you believe it, you still don't do anything to suggest. Bear in mind, I'm the one that lives alone. You know, if shoe was on the other foot, for instance, I'd be checking in on them. If I was in a relationship and they lived alone, you guarantee your ass I'd be making sure they're okay. I'd be phoning regularly. You'd go and visit them. Now, even if they're far away, I'd go and do the travel. I've already travelled up and down the country for my daughter. But they're not vulnerable. They have families. They're busy. They have things to do, you know? So I don't know when the best time to call as well and all that sort of thing. They know I'm available. You know what I mean? It's like, if they're not going to check on, again, this is the thing. If people are not going to check in on you or support you in your lowest moment, don't bring them into your best moments. So that's where I'm at. So it was a case of I looked at my life and I'm sort of cutting people out left, right, and center. I'm like, you're toxic, you're toxic, you're toxic, you're toxic. And I don't give a shit if I get married one day. You are not coming. You are not invited. And I'm standing by that. They will not be anywhere near it. If I'm ever married, no chance. I don't need to have an audience. That now, like I said, if you're with someone who has a great family, that's beautiful. Nothing wrong with that. I'll just say spread the benches up rather than people on one side and one on the other side. Just put everyone at the freaking front. You know, it's not such a big deal. So my core group gets smaller and smaller, and I'm fine with that. You know, I'm happy with my little warrior group is where I see it. These are people you can genuinely trust, and they're incredible people. And it ain't very big. It ain't very big at all. But I don't need big groups. I can stand tall on my own. So yeah. And what I would do there is just explain the toxicity. Like I'm very blessed in the fact that my mum is it's incredible to me. Like if I need help with anything, even if there's that, like, I don't know, asking for money, but if there's ever like a crisis, sometimes she can help, sometimes she can't. I hate asking her. So and that's the one thing. If I'm ever in a relationship with someone, I think this because people don't really realize the depths of your life. If I'm in a relationship with someone and I do come into good money in the future, like my mum doesn't even want anything, but I've already said to her, I'm going to change your life. You know, and I've already warned her that any money I give you in the future better go on you. I'm not giving you it to start spreading out to everybody else. So if you're going to do that, I'm not doing anything. So if you're not going to spend that on yourself and you're going to give it out, then I'm not doing it because I don't want to give them a penny. It's for you. So whoever I end up in a relationship with would have to understand that because I'm not having a huge argument over it because they're not going to win the argument. You know, my mum has done too much for me for too long to not be blessed in this lifetime, and that's one thing that sort of drives me to do it quicker, because we know time runs out, and it's a fear. I don't have many fears in life. I could get emotional now. I'm trying not to. I won't. I'll stop. Yeah, I don't have many fears, but one of them is if she runs out of time, like. Mm. I've got to try not to push myself. I'm not going to go that far. I'm not going to go that direction. I said I'm not going to use the tarot cards, but yeah. So I'm going to try not to go that direction. I'm going to be focused on being successful, and I know I will be. It's just hopefully it's in time. Because like I say, you never know when something happens to people, you know. So that my daughter is incredible. I've been blessed with the best human beings I know, and I think that's quite nice around the others that you could easily fall into the traps of keeping people in your life who take you for granted. Like I said, there's other dynamics, there's other people. I don't want to sort of hammer at every single individual, make this a long-winded, I don't like you. I just want to show some of the dynamics to explain what I deem toxic. And of course, like I said, there's more people and more dynamics to it, and it's just they haven't been there. And for that, they don't deserve to be there anymore, you know? So the reality is if I can create my legacy now on my own, what do I need them for? So yeah, of course, the more successful you are, what does that do? Makes you more desirable. So I expect all of the leeches to come out, you know, when the weather is perfect for them. So I wouldn't be surprised if the ex-partner looks on and thinks, "Oh, I've made a mistake. I'm so sorry for putting you through that. I wasn't in the best frame of mind. People coerced me, made me think you was this and that." You know, I thought about it, and I really do appreciate everything you did for me. And it's like we could recover this. It's like we can't recover shit. You sweet talking me ain't gonna do nothing. Do I look simple? And it's like I know my other people could pretend they weren't as bad as they were, and You know, it's like we've always got along and blah blah. It's like you never get this shit ain't gonna wash with me. You can't convince me of a different narrative when I know the truth. I already know the truth. It's seared into my soul. It's part of my records. In tarot, in spirituality, there's the Akashic records, which documents every aspect of our life and journey, and it goes through many timelines. Like it's already seared into my soul. You can't alter the impact you had on this life with me, and I hold everybody accountable for good and bad. And I mean, as you saw there with my mum, like that's been a blessing on earth. And I've even used my cards to ask, has she been placed in this lifetime to support me with my journey? And it was yes. Like, I know my life is it's a one of an awakening, and it's very much self-made. And she was put on my path to help me pursue that, you know? So I'm very lucky. Now, other people might have loads of people around them. Some people may have no one around them. I'm just very lucky she's there. But it's how long do we have, you know? And again, this is where the accountability comes as well, because other people have took her for granted all the time. They disrespect her all the time. One of my sisters just blanked her for like a good couple of years just because my mum spent Christmas with me one year. It's jokeable, isn't it? I didn't want to keep going to my sister's for Christmas. My stepdad had passed away, so we had Christmas at theirs one time. And I was like, well, I don't want that to be the family thing, that we have to just always go there and follow their rules. Christmas was always at my parents' home. So I want Christmas here. I want Christmas here. I'm happy to have it at home. This isn't like I'm an ultimatum in a sense that I don't mind having it at home. So, but I don't mind travelling down to spend it at my mum's. Anyone's welcome to turn up at that home. It's not saying no one's welcome. Like literally, it's there at her house. And my mum said, okay, we'll do it at mine. And then my sister got angry, apparently, because my mum was supposed to be going to her house. It's like, it's all about them, innit? And then because of that, she actually stopped talking to her for a couple of years. And I'm like, you're just a joke. You're pathetic. You know? I'd already had a problem with her in the past when I supported my ex-partner, for instance. She was having therapy at my mum's home. There's a whole process with all that. She was at a really low place. And usually it's usually just me and my parents. So we just give her the living room so they can have one-on-ones, personal, private. That's it. There was this time when like my stepdad weren't home and my sister had visited, and I was like, well, she's got an appointment coming soon. So is there like could you just like go in the garden, or we just go and chat somewhere else? And then my sister just caused a huge storm, and I got really angry in that moment. Like, because when I love someone or I'm protective of them, I'm protective. I was like the Hulk, in all honesty. I don't like being like that. I'm never physically violent to people, but I can get just stressed like anybody else. And obviously, if someone ever touched me, then it's gonna be different, isn't it? But in that situation, it wasn't that. It was, but she was. Yeah, she's just being a pain. So I just started getting angry and I was shouting. And I just told, because I'm like protective as hell of someone that's like life's fragile right now. This is like this without being like crazy. Life and death. That's how serious this was. She needed therapy. She's going through a lot of shit. So let's help her with this. This is before it got to the. But anyway. So her being difficult is like, I'm just like, you are not doing this shit right now. So I told her she's selfish bitch, pretty much. But I was shouting. I just wanted to rip the door off its hinge. And I told her she can go off. I don't want nothing to do with you anymore. I've got no respect for you. And then she's crying. I'm like, I don't give a shit if you're crying anymore, to be honest. I've done, man. She's already disrespected in other ways up to that point. It's like, for me, that was it. You were done now. I'm going to tell you what I think. I'm sick and tired of your shit. So I was like, we're not going to be able to do it here because she's freaking nuts. So we had to get the people. The people had to then, instead of having the meeting there, they put her in their car, and they had to take her to the nearest facility where it's like a hospital thing. And she had to have it there, the session there. I can't remember if I had to go. I think I had to go and pick her up after. I can't remember if they took her actually, or if we drove down there. I can't remember now. Either way, I just remember going all the way down there. It was a different facility, but it was like, this is shit we've done now. It's a culmination of these events, and that's what I consider toxic. So, I said I'll do tarot at the end. Let's see what tarot thinks of people. Sometimes tarot doesn't think so bad of people. Actually, sometimes in the rare instance, because when I say tarot, my spirit guides, because sometimes people, what I perceive as an arrogance, a betrayal, just something negative, spirit sees as a lesson. So sometimes they see the lesson in it, and that's what they'll show me. It's a bit of discovery. I've channeled my grandmother, who I didn't really know, and I've asked about specific people. I kid you not. Sometimes they've got. It was funny because I was talking to my mum on the phone. I was even doing the tarot over the phone with my mum, and I was asking her. I was saying, right, what does my grandmother think of this individual? Because I know what each one's like, and sometimes, and it's like, and I said about one specific particularly, and I said to my mum, I said, guess what she'd give her? She goes, well, she really liked her, so it's probably going to be really nice cards. I said, yeah. She thinks she's a freaking emperor. I was like, she's a freaking joke. But so what I'm saying is that those on the other side can have a differing opinion. I don't usually channel ancestors. I don't. I'm more. I've always said that. I'm like that. It's not for a lack of respect. But if you ask me, am I more interested in channeling ancestors, like people that have been here in the past, like what we perceived as hierarchy, which I think in the overall scheme of things isn't really, it's just part of our journey, or our guides and angels? I'm more interested in the guides and angels because they're of a higher vibration and it's a higher purpose to our life. So just because someone was older than us doesn't make them wiser than us, doesn't make their path any more special than ours. So effectively, we're all just in a human vessel having the experience. And I don't want to put myself on a pedestal, but I just know my life path is bigger than theirs. So it's kind of like, I don't want to be rude, but I'm gonna learn more from my guides and the angels than I am from ancestors who had toxicities ingrained in them too, as shown by the attachment to a toxic freaking sibling. So I'm not being rude in that sense. I do get signs I'm the generational chain breaker though, so it is for that. But I think it goes way beyond all that shit. I don't really care. Right, so what we're going to do, put the camera on so we can see the cards. Because I don't really like validating shit, but it's helpful, isn't it? Just to show I'm not cherry picking. So that's your happy ever after. So that's before we've even cut across, like Spirit's just talking about like your happiness, your fulfillment. And that's what the boundaries does. It allows you that because the other people just keep taking away your cups. People take my cups. You're not even taking one cup. You don't even sip my cup. So anyway, I've got to try and be careful because I can't say names. I'll have to do it in my head. Just ask what Spirit thinks about the sister who was a bit of a problem with my ex-partner and the one that has a bit more money. What do they think about her in my life? I've got a page of wands. The interesting thing with that is if you in tarot it goes page, you've got pages, you've got knights, then you've got things like so you've got page, knights, then you've got like the kings, queens, then you've got empress and emperor. So the page is the lowest of the thing. So what they're seeing with that is, if you look at that, it's like they haven't grown up, like to an extent. That's what I see with that though. I just see it's like they haven't grown up and they're still just focusing on the things that they're attracted to and things like that. It's like things that distract them. It's just it's so trivial. It's like there's nothing of substance. If I've done this before, where I've asked like a bit about a specific incident. I could do it now actually. So yeah, they don't. It's not a very high opinion, is it? It's like, okay, what does Spirit think about her contribution to my situation when I was going through family court, when I was going through the whole period of my life? What do they think about her contribution during that period, the way she behaved? Hmm. I've had it before. I kid you not. I had that same one before. I had that conflict one before. They're not shining lights. They're not beautiful versions of a human being. Literally, if you look at the first one is conflict. So it just caused trouble. It wasn't really supportive. There I am growing my foundation. I'm growing. I'm building, and just left me like, if you look at it, like left me sort of alone to figure things out for myself. And if you look at that, absolutely exhausted. It's not quite the 10, it's the 9. But you couldn't be more exhausted. Where's the support there at any of that? Where is any of support? The spirit knows. The spirit holds me accountable as much as I do. I get signs that people are going to get karma. It's none of my business, but it does say don't get involved in their karma, otherwise it will carry over to you, and it's their karma. But anyway, that's that sister. Not particularly endearing, is it? Now, the other one might get a little bit of goodness because they helped me for a little period, but I know the intentions behind it, so I'm not expecting too negative, but we'll see what happens with that. I don't know what the initial question was. Was it in my life? Now, this is the one that went to... I don't want to say anything yet, mate. Funny they give me one. This is the one that went to family court with me, but also caused trouble on holiday and things, and didn't help when I needed it, really. King of Cups. Now, that's a king. So we've gone from... That's weird. I did say they might give him a good card. That's a weird one. They're giving her a lot of credit. Considering the other one only got a page. This one, I did say you got levels. Page, Knight, Kings, and then Empress and Emperor. How the hell has she got the King of Cups? But again, like I said, part of the growth, the journey. Because they have been available to talk to along the way too. So they haven't been switched off like my other sister where you haven't been able to talk to her at all. We haven't really talked to her. I think they're trying to make me acknowledge the fact that she has had other parts where she's been helpful, I guess. I actually like the fact that it's the cups because it's emotional support. So for certain periods, they were there. Certain periods, I spent time with them and things like that, and then by them coming. So I think that's them trying to give more me. They're trying to give them the recognition for that, I think. So there's like positives to it, but the king's quite huge. So I don't want to sort of like diminish what Spirit's saying here because we can put our own spin on it. I'm asking Spirit what they think. That's throwing me a little bit. It doesn't mean they think they should be in my life. I would do that after the boundaries. What does Spirit think about their contribution during family court and the chaos, the tough period in my life? Oh, that's too many cards. Well, we're going to have to do it again. That's the whole half the deck. Can't have it explode like that. Wait a minute. One thing I would say is probably going to be positive. Oh, freaking hell. You're joking. How the hell? That's a bit mental. They're really giving her a lot of credit. I hope this ain't my grandmother coming through because I'm not asking her for freaking advice. I'm asking my guides. She's now gone from the King of Cups to the Sun and this doesn't change, believe me. I'm figuring out, and it's making me reflect a little bit deeper. But it still doesn't negate all the other things I said there's issues with. It's too much for me. But they're giving her a lot of respect for this. That one's talking about really integrity and things. Sun. So it gave me joy and happiness. And it was a distraction. She was an incredible distraction at the period. Again, for their own reasons. But they were a distraction when I needed it, for sure. Four of Pentacles. I feel like that's given me stability when I needed it. That's interesting. It's interesting because it's making me look in a different direction. We can pick apart all the bad things, but there's been, with her, they've got nice things to say. But again, it doesn't change what's happened since. And it doesn't change how I feel about the situations, But they've given they've got to give them their dues because they've just given them good dues. I don't know what that's about. Now I'm getting a star with a two of wands. I'm not sure. That's referred to. I didn't really ask anything. Hmm. Um, Maybe it was about them. I don't know. Right. What does Spirit think about my mum's contribution? No, wait a minute. What does Spirit think about my mum in my life? Oh, yeah. It's like that's fast movement. She helps me get over things quickly. Um, and that has to do with travel as well. So if there's been travel costs, especially for court, was that. But we're asking in general. Um, she gives an awful lot of love. Look, the Queen of Cups. It's really nice, and she helps me. The world. She helps me go through cycles. You know, end things. She helps me. I see that's live. That's really beautiful. If you just look at it, I think that just looks really nice. What does Spirit think about my mum's contribution during family court and the chaos? Hmm. Hmm. Ha. That's actually really interesting. If you look at that, I see that as like there's me and there's her. Like she's my knight in shining armor in a sense. She's protective of me. She'd just always coming to save me. That's nice. That's crazy. That was nice. So I'm not going to go through every other name. It's the other people involved in this, but I'm really interested now by the other sets because I'm not, yeah, like I said, I'm not deviating, but it's interesting that they're giving someone a little bit more credit, quite a lot of credit to be totally honest, which is confusing the shit out of me a little bit there, to be honest. Um, yeah. What does Spirit think about me setting boundaries with? So I was talking about the sister that has, I guess, the more money. That's the only way you can put it into text. The one that had the page of wands. We've got the Eight of Pentacles. If you look at that, it's like you're finally reaping your rewards, if you like. So it was, what do you think about it? It's like, yeah, you're focusing on you now. You're doing what you need to do. And that can only be a positive because at the beginning of the deck, we just got the Ten of Cups, which was, my focusing on my fulfillment. And that's kind of that, isn't it? Not letting them get in my way. Um, this one's going to be interesting, isn't it? What does Spirit think about me setting boundaries with? This is the sister who had all the beautiful cards. Oh, yeah, the Four. But the Four is the leap of faith, the new journey, the new beginning. So a new adventure awaits you. So they gave them a lot of praise, and I think they felt I think they personally, I think they felt they deserved recognition for the good things they've done, rather than be considered a really horrible person. Because I've already done that balance, but I think Spirit wanted to give their input on to say, look, they did help you through that, and it's worth me recognizing that. It's part of my development, but also a bit of recognition for them. But it's saying, yeah, you go on your own path now. It's important. Haven't set boundaries with my mum, so I can't really ask you about boundaries with her. Do this. What does Spirit think about the progress I've made in my own life? What does Spirit think about the progress I've made in my own life? Ha! Magician, you're creating your own reality. You can do anything. That's nice. Yeah. Probably leave it there. I think the good take from that, especially with Guy, the channeling and stuff, is it does show other aspects, other perspectives. And I think it's important. Maybe we do account for that, but it doesn't change certain things. Because I think I was asking about her, like when we was talking about that generally, it's just a case, like for instance, when my sister got praised, there's been events after that I haven't really talked about in depth. We talked about a little bit about the holiday, but not in depth. And it's just one thing after another with them. I just can't. It's like you can only handle so much. And part of it was a disrespect to my mum. Something quite public as well, and I was not happy at all. And I was like, at that point, no way. You show me too many negative colours here. This is just not my vibe, and I don't want that in my life. Especially if you start ascending and like aspiring for a better life. You think about the life you want, the people you want in your life, the experiences you want to have. I don't need low vibrational people in my life trying to be a train wreck and ruin it just because they see everything as a holiday, So, now other people can reflect upon their own life. You'll recognize whether you've got people that you can deem toxic or not. But like you saw there, the fall, the leap of faith, the journey, the new beginnings, building towards your own success. You got to ask yourself, what is the life you want, and what is loyalty doing for you at the moment when you're holding on to people who really don't have your best interests at heart. And really, it's up to us to make that decision for ourselves, isn't it? So, like I said, you might meet people in the future, and they might say, "Well, you should make peace with other people." It's like, no, you don't understand the dynamic. Just understand it. That'd be fake. That's the part I'm getting at. If you was to make peace, you're doing it for the wrong reasons, in my opinion. You're not doing it because that's what your heart wants or that's what you desire. You're doing it to just maintain a status quo and to fit in with society and things. It's like, that doesn't work for me. That's just doing it for the point of doing it. It's like, but we're still not really going to communicate and enjoy ourselves talking. You might have a good moment, but deep down, it's like there's always this barrier because it's not genuine. So if it's not genuine, well, let's not play. Let's just get on with our lives. You go your path. I wish you luck. I wish you healing. And I genuinely do. And I hope they find things that inspire them and help them grow. But time's too short. Like me personally, I want to be in love. I want to dedicate my time to that person, I want to obviously support my mum. I want to be there for her. I want to obviously do things with my daughter. I have my daughter in my life, and that's enough for me. And have new experiences. If career opportunities open up, and maybe you do meet people along the way and you get some friendships and people you can trust, that's great. But overall, it's just that core dynamic. If that consumes enough of my time. That consumes enough of my time. I'm independent anyway, so I've got things I like to do on my own, like projects and shit. So I'm not someone that needs a big crowd. Sometimes I think less is more. It's easier. It's easier to manage. But I don't push people away just to be an arsehole. It's like, I hold people accountable. So, yeah, I understood what Spirit was saying there with my sister, for instance, with these situations, because, yeah, okay. As soon as it wasn't in her favor or something, she did let me down. And it's important I hold that accountable. But even if she didn't do it for the best of intentions at times, it still helped me. And it was still like a source of like light. It was still a distraction for me. And they were there in that period. So I think it's important I don't forget that. And that's what Spirit was kind of showing here. Don't forget this. And it made me reflect a little bit more. But overall, they still haven't supported my journey, have they? I've still been left on my own, struggling heavily. And she did make a remark, by the way, about my daughter. I was not happy at all. I'll finish it with that because I think it's important to give context. Spirit's not talking about that. Spirit's talking about the actual incident through the period rather than the comments later. So my stepdad, just before he passed, he was adamant getting my daughter home. He was adamant. He said he had a Mercedes car. He said sell the car to fund the court case and things. That was his wishes, and I didn't know that. It was apparently my my well, not step brother, my brother-in-law apparently heard. So certain family members were aware of it anyway. Okay. And my sister later on, recently, not even that long ago, I think when we had an argument at, I can't remember what it was. I think it was when we got home from holiday because we had an argument. She sent me a message. So I've got it in writing. I didn't read it or I got bored. But yeah, within that, she was making the point that you've leech off mum. We all know it. I thought, okay, if that's what you think. And then she mentioned about the family court thing, the fact that they've had to pay for this and pay for that. And I had to go. I said, you can go off. You're done. I said, I don't want to hear a word from your mouth ever again. We've had a big argument over that, by the way, because I later found out they got angry. Someone close to them got angry about it. And I found out about that. And I found out they were trying to turn people against me, which I thought, okay, so now you can't have conflict with me on your own. You've got to try and put everyone together and make an army, even though I'm still on my own. Well, kudos to you. Do I look like I give a shit? So I did a social media post and I went mental. In all honesty, I went nuts. I said I couldn't give a shit who's on your side. I said and I swore. I did swear. I'll say it now if you want. I don't care how I come across. I can be assertive, and I just said keep my name out of your fucking mouth. Don't ever put my name in your mouth ever again. I didn't give a shit. I was like, keep away from me, you lot. I got nothing good to say to any of you, and I still stand by that now. Like, you put my name, you say something deeply personal in the situation with my daughter, and you're cut off immediately. Even if you're angry and you want to be spiteful, don't ever do that. And that's what they did. So effectively, if I didn't have that support, I've already explained, I was in a crisis. I had debts I was trying to sort out. How the hell was I going to fight through family court as well? It would take me years to be able to get myself back on track. So I needed support. And that's what people are there for, isn't it? When you're at a crisis, they step up and help you. And that's what I had from very specific people, no one else. Literally, someone who was on there like dying, and my mother. No one else put a hand in their pocket, not a penny towards me to support this. So from that point of view, that showed me that my sister just cares so much about money. That's all she bothers about. That's all she thinks about is how she didn't get money or something, even though she didn't have the same similar situation at all. And without that, I wouldn't be able to have my daughter in my life right now. So it's nice that she really wanted me to suffer even more. And she got no concept of the value of like love and the human relationships and things. It's like, for me, that was like, you're just so low and sick. You're toxic as shit. That was done to me. So like, where spirit gives them kudos for a different period of life, so I get it, but don't ever talk to me again. Yeah, that was done for that. There was something else I was going to add there. Oh yeah, I didn't know this. Like before he died, my stepdad, I did tell him like I loved him. I don't normally tell people I love him really, but I did say to I love him. He said I love you too. That was really nice. And then after he died, I had a few people. It wasn't just one. I had a couple of people say to me that he said you are. I'm trying to get emotional. I don't talk about him a lot now. I did dedicate a little bit. I did say a little bit about him in the beginning of one of my books. But he did say you are like he's a great father, and I thought that's nice to hear because he was like he wasn't easy. He wasn't you could just talk. It's not like he would shut you down when he talks to you, but he's very abrupt. He was very firm. Like my mum's the one I would talk to about anything. So I didn't talk to him about everything because I knew he'd judge and I knew he'd have an opinion on this. And like me and my daughter, she can talk to me the same way I talk to my mum, But he was there though. He was always reliable. And he's like, if you ever need anything, so like if you just needed to go anywhere, like he'll take you. He wouldn't question. Even if he's a bit annoyed, he'd still do it. So he was always like reliable, So you knew a standard for him to see that, That was nice. But yeah, well, when it comes to my daughter, I'm incredibly touchy. So it's like that's a landmine for people. Someone might want to be clever, but it's a very, very touchy topic. And it's like if you go anywhere near that, trying to be like smart ass, and it gets personal, you can guarantee that's the last conversation you're ever having with me. I will cut you off immediately. Done, dusted for the rest of your life. And you can come back and go, I didn't mean it. I'm sorry. Like, don't give a shit. No one disrespects my daughter. And also it shows a level of disrespect to me too, doesn't it? But it's disrespecting her. Because if we didn't fight through family court, not only would I not see her anymore, she would live a life that she didn't choose. She'd be lost. She'd be genuinely lost. I've been a pillar of strength for her, and I know I have. She said something similar. I can't remember what she said. She did say something like that. She also said she lost her childhood. And it's like anytime this holiday she wants to spend with me, she spends time with her friends to distract her from the life she has at the moment. There's a lot of things, we cope and people don't see the depths of that. But she's finding the strength in herself. She's gaining emotional intelligence. And I know she needs me. So I think for someone to, disrespect that, I think is cruel. And if you're cruel, I don't want you in my life. So, with my sister, I don't care if she gets the freaking sun shining out of her ass. She can roll down a freaking hill for all I care, because she's got no chance of talking to me ever again. And so when I said at the beginning, I'm the most stubborn person any of them have ever met, you can bet your ass I am. Because I hold you accountable. You don't get to make mistakes like that. And that's what my life's like. So if you see in the future I am successful for whatever reason, and headlines come out, disowned the family, all this shit, some people that would have seen this video beforehand would see the depths of that, and why I have. So yeah, I'm happy doing things my own. I got this far alone, haven't I? And I say alone. I've got my mum, of course, I've got to support. I've got my daughter who needs me, so we talk when she needs me. I try to give her freedom to breathe. I don't pester her. In the past, we talk a lot more than we do now, but it's not the case of we don't talk because we don't want to. She's busy with school. She's with her friends. She's just got activities. She's now got a boyfriend. And it's like, I want her to grow into herself. So she knows anytime she needs me, she can message and I'll call straight away. Or we'll text back. Or I might have plans for the day. Like I might just think, I like F1 and stuff. Let's say I've got plans. Let's say I'm gonna watch F1. There's a bit of football on as well. Like, I like to chill out. It gives me a relaxed distraction from life for a bit. Or I could say I'm working on a book. Let's say I'm working on a chapter on a book, and my daughter could just message me and go, "Can you call?" So shit, I've got this set up. Yeah, all right, unless I'm working. If I'm really, really focused on a book, I might say, what is it like? Because I've only happened once. Normally I'd just agree. And the thing is, it could be like 11 o'clock in the morning and we could be on call till like 10 o'clock at midnight. Or, it'd be crazy. We'd just be like talking the whole time on a video chat. So there's been times when I've fallen asleep in the video chat, like I've literally fell asleep, and she just laughs. You started just snoring, But she keeps it on because it's more about being in each other's company. There's sometimes we're just literally sitting there. I'll just sitting there. Maybe I'm watching the telly or I'm just watching doing something, and she's just drawing or colouring. It's not always just about talking the whole time through. It's just literally just to be there with each other, and I think that's quite beautiful, isn't it? Like I said, I don't pressure her though. So like, I wouldn't make her feel uncomfortable. Like she has to look after me or I should be there because I'm alone or something. It's like she knows I'm confident on my own. She knows I manage it. She knows I make myself busy. So there's not this vulnerability with me anymore. Like in that sense, there was a period where it was a bit tough. But she needed me at that time. So it wasn't like I was pressuring her. But now, like I said, she's gaining a little bit more independence and things like that. So there'll be times in the future when she needs me more than she does now. Like she might need me if you go through like any situations in life. There'll be times in her life when she doesn't need me so much, and she'll get on living. And that's the whole point, though, isn't it? That's what I want for her. And again, it's not cling to the past. It's allow the present to breathe, and then let the future come to us. So, I think when you set high standards in your life and you remove people who no longer align with you, it's like you allow yourself room then to build a new life. And I just think that's quite beautiful. And too many people are scared. They're scared of being alone. They're scared of conflict. They're scared of this. They're scared of that. They're scared of the shadow. I don't care if someone doesn't like me. I don't care if someone puts a different narrative in their head of who I am. Like I said, my sister's already formed the narrative that I'm a leech, I'm lazy, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, go kiss my ass. Why don't you go and do that? If I'm in a crisis and my mum supports me, it's because she wants to. She's not going to do something she doesn't want. I don't beg. I just, she knows my circumstances. I don't like her helping me. There was a time when we went on holiday, I paid most of the holiday up because I was doing the job I was doing. When I got bad back, I've spoke about my back a lot to people. People know the story with the back. And I got paid well with that job. And everybody was paying for towards this holiday for 2024. And I left the job September 2023. And I was getting good money. So I was paying it all myself anyway. Like, it was fine. Then when I left the job, yeah, I struggled to make the last few payments. It wasn't like crazy amounts. I'd already paid most of the holiday. So this is how I know what people think of me. And if they think about that of me, why would I want them in my life? So when we got on holiday, my sister was causing a scene anyway over something else. And she said, well, we all know mum paid for your holiday. And I was like, well, she didn't pay for the holiday because I paid most of it. Like, and then my mum's even like, no, I didn't. And my sister's like, yeah, we know she didn't. I just thought, if that's what you think of me, like, I'm already thinking, go and do one. Like, she was supposed to be. That's where a lot of conflict started on that day, to be totally honest, because she had the only key to the room. And I was like, why do you get the key? I'm not saying I should, but maybe we should just share it around a little bit. Like, if someone's going to be in the room more, or where someone needs to go, just, But she was like, no, I was given the key. I go, oh, you was given the key. I've talked about this before, right? And it all kicked off in the room. And she didn't like it because I know how to make people, I know how to trigger people. And yeah, on that moment, I wanted to trigger the shit out of her. I was playing with her like a fiddle because I know how angry she gets and how quick she can get angry. And I was all relaxed. So I was just laying there chilling out. So he goes, oh, it's your holiday. Because she goes, it's my holiday. I goes, oh, it's not everybody's holiday. It's your holiday, is it? She goes, yeah, it's my holiday. I go, that's nice. So what, we're here just to follow you around? And she's just getting angry. She said, I ain't putting up with this shit. I'll go with the others. We had a 3-bedroom room and my niece had a 2-bedroom with her daughter. And she goes, I'll go and stay with him. I'll go, you do whatever you want to do. You just do what you want to do. She's so fuming. She went out. And then they've had to try and share a 2-bedroom room while we've got this big room with 3 beds and a massive double bed and then 1 single bed. That was funny. In the end, we swapped rooms, but we didn't have to swap rooms. So I said to my mum, no, just swap. I said, if we swap, they can't come back because there's only 2 beds in this room. But that was the downfall of that. And then, of course, we had the problem with the coach. We also had a problem with them being lazy like shit. We were supposed to do so many excursions. So it was going to go coach trips, going to do days out. They were just lazy, just drinking every night and just wasting their life. It was just oh shit. And then there was a scene on the plane where my sister swore at my mum, and now she denies that. But my mum was there, my niece was there. There's a lot of strangers there. That was funny in a sense. The way I handled it was funny. I felt because I don't get involved in everything, and when it's siblings, it's like it's not really my business all the time. So she picks the window seat. She was moaning the whole time. She kept doing it all the time. Oh, no, I always have to have a window seat. I said, well, that's nice. But then what you'll get one day, you're going to sit on your own because everyone else is going to get pissed off. Like, why should everyone else sit everywhere else? Take it in turns. You have the window seat one direction, and give someone else the next one. He goes, no, I have to have the window seat. I was like, oh, you're a joke. And then we was getting off the plane. And of course, I'm near the aisle, so it's easy for me to get off. My mum's in between us. My mum's struggling to get a seatbelt off. And my sister's getting anxiety for some weird reason, thinking she's going to get left behind. She chose the window. You can't expect to freaking teleport wherever you want. It's like, you've picked the furthest seat, get used to it. Anyway, so I'm holding up the aisle to the plane because I'm all about, again, everyone knows me, I'm all about justice. The front of the plane should come off first. The door's open there. Let these people out. Don't block them in. If you let the stampede come down, the others have all just got to sit and wait. Why should the back of the plane rush to the front? Have a laugh. So I stood there blocking everyone off. This poor woman next to me on the other side, she looked up at me like, oh, I go, no, you go. Because, some people get a bit intimidated about things. No, I was like, no, you go. We had a similar thing like this before we got on the plane, actually, before that. There was a sit bit where my sister was getting funny with people, again, when we had to go outside. And I was letting people through. I was like, no, you go. I think they were family, they had kids and stuff. I was like, no, you go on first. To the train things that take you to, I don't know what you call them. They take you to the plane. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah, I look out for the ones I see that vulnerable, So anyway, my mum's struggling to get off and my sister's getting angry. She's just like swearing out crazy. I thought, bloody hell, that's mad. That's what I thought, but I didn't say anything because I thought, it's not my position. I know it's my mum, but it's like her mum as well. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm just like, this is crazy. But then because we're still waiting and nothing's going on, I go, God damn. I said, that was nuts. Bear in mind, we've got loads of people behind us and people can hear everything. I just said, God damn, that's nuts. And my sister's like, yeah, right. I said, fucking hell, no, you. I said, you're nuts. I said that was so unnecessary. I said, you went way too far. She goes, oh, fuck off, Stephen. I'm just smiling. Do you know what I mean? Like, this is just crazy, man. But I said to my mum, I said, we're going to get through this. I said, I'm not bothering with her anymore. I said, I've had enough. I was still polite to my sister in the airport just to get through it because she was getting all anxious about missing the baggage thing. I said, calm down, Jesus Christ, we'll get there. But after that, I just said, I'm not bothering anymore, and I haven't bothered since. That for me was the last straw. You know, you've shown selfishness throughout the holiday. You've been lazy as shit. It goes levels with this shit, man. Me and my mum, we was the ones trying to do things. So like I took her to the shop. She didn't want to go anywhere on her own. So I walked down to the shop with her. A bit of a trek along we had to go down from this hotel. Then we had to go across along the street and stuff. We went to the shop. We was talking about going on excursion for a while. I think we'd already been there maybe a few days, maybe 5 days or so. We hadn't done anything like in terms of going out properly. Everybody else had massive plans. They hadn't done nothing. So we really said to them, we're going to go to the travel thing at some point and we're going to try and book something. They said we'll go tomorrow, but they kept saying shit like this. And we was there, and across the road was the travel thing. So we was like, well, we might as well go and ask them about stuff, see what's available. So we get there, we've got cash on us, and they said, well, if you book it now, we can give you a discount if you pay cash. If you pay it today, obviously maybe it's a tactic, maybe it's not, but it's like, well, okay, that sounds good. So why don't we pay now, and then we'll just tell them, and then they can come down and do it themselves either later or tomorrow. It's sensible. We told them, they got well angry. Bear in mind, they're quite fired up people, my family, like on that side. They're very hot tempered, if you like. I'm more balanced. I can get tempered too, but I'm balanced. I can just go and watch people and just think you're nuts. And I find it amusing playing them, to be honest, like a puppet. I can do that. But I can fight back. So my niece, for instance, getting pissed off. She got really pissed off quick. She said, that's out of order. She goes, you shouldn't have gone. You shouldn't have gone. I go, what the fuck are you talking about? Because I'll lay it back to people, you know. I said, what the hell? What are you talking about? I said, literally, we was at the shop. She goes, nah. I said, yeah, we was at the shop. I said, it's open. I said, you've had plenty of time to go and book something yourself. We've told you we get interested in doing this. You keep delaying. None of you want to do anything. You're lazy as shit. We was there. We've just gone over there. We was only asking. We got a brochure. We didn't intend to book it. Then they offered us it, and she's still like, I said, I couldn't give a shit if you believe us. That's what happened. I said, you guys sort it out yourself if you want. If you can't be asked, don't. In the end, me and my mum went on our own little coach trip because the idiots couldn't be bothered. They got lazy. They're just useless. And that's the truth. And the coach trip, so we was in Hersonosis? I can't remember. I can't pronounce it. It's in Crete. It's Hersonosis. It's to the east of Heraclion. It's a place where a lot of tourists go. And our coach trip, this was a beautiful coach trip. When we come back, I said, you should have come. And I think they knew they should. Because the coach trip went to Rothmian. It went to Lake Kunos. It went to Chania, where they call Hania. We stopped at this little road stop thing to get a coffee and go for a toilet. And the views were crazy. Like, I don't like heights, so some of it was sketchy, but I'd say the views were incredible. We're literally seeing the northern side of Crete going eastwards. And they missed that because of their arrogance. Either way, not going to destroy my holiday, not going to destroy my mum's holiday. We'll just do it on our own. And then the very last few days, they'd done nothing, literally nothing. And I was like, well, I'm not wasting 2-3 days sitting around the pool. I said, I'm going to try and get one more trip in. I'm going to do a trip. If no one wants to come, I'll go on my own. Do you know what I mean? So there was a couple we was looking at. Well, they all of a sudden wanted to jump in. They was like, yeah, all right, yeah, we'll go. And they wasted their holiday. And I thought, I'm not wasting mine. So we was going to go to, I think it's Effalusi Beach. If you look at that, I think it's a pink beach. There was one that was a pink beach, and there was a beach to the northeast. I can't remember. No, northeast, west. Northwest. I'm getting it lost. Okay, so we didn't go east. We went northwest. It was north and then western of Crete first time. We was going to go back over that way to go a bit further. I think it's something is a B. Balos Beach. I think it's Balos Beach we was going to go to. The Effalusi one was a little bit further. It's a bit more through the mountains. It's going to be a bit more challenging, really. And it was dates. Was specific to dates. Balos Beach required you to go in the sea a little bit to get to the boat. My mum couldn't swim at all. So it was like, that's too dangerous. We can't do it. That's why we went to Vi Beach. I've shown it on my YouTube shorts. You've got Vi Beach with the palm trees. We went there instead. That was a scary trip through the mountains. That was scary. It was nice to have the experience. Whether I'd go Vi Beach again, I don't know, because I don't think I would. I was scared. That was a horrible coach trip, but they got to experience it. Anyway, I'm just showing the dynamic there. It's like these are people that they get defensive, they'll hold you back in life. You know, I wouldn't have had the experience I had. We wouldn't have seen Rothmian. I wouldn't have seen Hania. I wouldn't have seen Lake Kulnos. Lake Kulnos was really nice. I don't think my photos do it justice, but at the top of Lake Kulnos, there's this restaurant and it had the most beautiful steak. The food was incredible. Then you just walk down the slope and you get to this beautiful lake that's got these mountainy cliff, whatever you want to call them, surrounding it, and it was just beautiful. And some people you could hire a paddle boat and all sorts. We weren't going to be there long enough really for all that to that degree. But it was such a beautiful place, and it was such nice weather. Um, Hania was really nice. Rothmian was beautiful as well. And I was like, I like these places. This is peaceful. These are nice places to go. And you're just seeing more of the island, you know. But anyway, so we had experiences that they missed out on because they couldn't get their head out of their arse. But then after that, I was like, I can't go on holiday with them anymore. Their attitude was, this was what they wanted to do. I like to get up early. I just like to get on with the day. You know, let's do shit. I want to see things. I don't mind sitting by the pool for a little bit, but I don't want to sit by the pool all day. I don't want to sit on the beach forever. I like to just explore. Like, let me do stuff. Their attitude is they would rather sleep in the morning or whatever they're doing. They'd rather just go drinking all night and then sit by the pool, have some more drinks, ready for the night. And it's like, oh, this is the opposite. You're the opposite of me. That's the complete opposite. Do you know what I mean? It's like, it's not like each their own. It's not for me to say what they can and can't do, but clearly me being with them is irrelevant, isn't it? I'm nothing like you. We just got different ideals for life. That's fine. But like I say, there's a lot of things you start ticking off. Like, for instance, my niece, me and my niece used to get on, but I didn't like something. Like, she agreed. Like, for instance, when my sister was denying that she swore on a plane, privately to my mum, my niece apparently told my mum, yeah, he did. That is true. And then later on, like a few weeks later or whatever it was, I can't remember how long, she'd post a video up on social media. I wasn't in any of the videos. It was, or any of the images for the holiday. It was just my sister, her, and her daughter, and one with my mum that you wouldn't have been able to cut her out. But obviously they must have wanted to sign. But they only had one image of my mum. And I was like, okay, so now we're like in this competition battle and you're choosing. That's what it was. I saw that and I went, oh, I'm done with you lot. I really am done with you lot. I can't be bothered. I just thought, you're all on that side. I don't want to deal with it anymore. You're done with me. I'm done with you. Plus my niece, for instance, I didn't want to go into this part. She did abandon everybody. Like, I didn't really care about being at mum, doing my own shit anyway, but it's like her daughter's first holiday abroad. She'd met someone in a pub, in one of those club shits, and all of a sudden it's this romance blooming or whatever. So she just started pissing off all the time, going doing that. But she started spending her daughter's money. So one time we went to have something to eat because she weren't there. I think she was pissed off with this guy somewhere. And we was going, right, well, let's go for something to eat. And we found this really nice noodle place or something we hadn't had before. And we was like, okay, we'll go here. And she had no money on her. Like, she just didn't have her money because her mum had been bloody spending it. And she, you know, so she's like, oh, I think I might have some in the safe. But she weren't sure what she's got because it's kept getting hemorrhage. My sister, her grandmother, didn't even want us to help her. She wasn't going to put her money in her pocket. And I was like, well, we will help you. She wasn't going to help at all. And that's what I'm talking about. I would never leave someone stranded if I can help. I don't care. I said, she was getting uncomfortable. She's like, no, don't worry about it. I said, it's just money. I said, like, it doesn't matter. I said, who gives a shit? It's money. You can always get more money. I said, forget it. I said, we'd rather have your company. You're here. We'd all enjoy ourselves. Don't worry about what it costs and feel awkward about it. It's like, we're just eating. Forget the freaking price. Who gives a shit? And that's what I'm like. That's my character, you know? And my mum's the same. So to us, it was just a given. Like, don't worry about it. Obviously, we wasn't really impressed with her money getting hemorrhaged by someone else. That was quite rude. Yeah, anyway, I don't want to go too far with everything. And there's been times with the car. I had to hire a car. Others didn't want to contribute to it, but they wanted to use it. It's like this sort of shit. In the end, they had to because I refused. I said, I'm not going to let any of them in the car if they don't pay anything. You know what I mean? It's like, it's just a joke, isn't it? It's like they just want to free their money up for drinks. I'm not doing this. So I'll just go ahead and book shit myself. I don't care. You know, I'll hire the car if I have to on my own. We'll do that. In the end, they did want to jump in on that. Of course, by jumping in on that, we can decide together where we're going. It's not a case of I have the car, we go where I want. We ended up going to this water park. We had fun at the water park. That's because we had the car. Although after that, we figured out there was a coach trip that actually takes you directly there. But it was a good journey. And we went to some other places, and it was nice, and the beach. So yeah, we had a good enough experience, but it wasn't as straightforward as it could have been, and I think it was just far more chaotic than it had to be. But anyway, I'm not. That was the last holiday with all of them, so I won't be doing that ever again. Well, yeah, I won't. Even if I really desperately want to go on holiday, I'd rather go on my own. I go on my own. I go with my mum. I want to get my daughter a passport. I really want to take her abroad. Um, but yeah, that's life, isn't it? But I think sometimes the reason I do this isn't to attack people; it's to show people, reflect upon the dynamics in your life, and don't be scared to cut people off because you got to ask yourself: is it really worth keeping people in your life who just weigh you down? I always call it anchor or support. Do they anchor you or do they support you? And if they support you, do they do it freely? Or is it because there's an ulterior motive? Which is fine for a period, in the same way Spirit's shown me there. They were there for me during a period, but are they always there? When can you truly rely on them? Or do they have ulterior motives? A lot of time they're just bored. And I'm like, I'm just done now. I'm not going to get pulled into shit. So if someone has a health concern and things, it's not going to be enough to pull me in because that's the whole way people get you. All of a sudden, oh, you got to drop your guard. It's like, no, because we don't owe anyone anything. It's like, just make the most of your life. I'll make the most of my life. We'll make new chapters in life. We'll have new people come into it. It's fine. I don't need that. I always had a huge attachment to family and a feeling like an obligation to them. And it was always a big thing for me. That's a big change for me to remove myself from it, to detach, because for me it was like everything. And now I realize it's not at all. It's just aligning yourself with those who you value each other. Wherever you like both put in the same effort, you work towards something. And I think that's just more important. So we don't owe anyone anything. You try to do the best in a given circumstance, and then you've got to look at who's there in your life, who's likely to stay. And like I say, detach from those who don't. And it's like, I've seen enough now. So I feel healthier for it. And that's the beautiful. If you saw the cards with Tarot, I can't remember exactly what I had now, but Spirit was happy with that. The boundaries I set, the new journey, leading towards something different. And it's like, yeah, this is my path and part of my story, I guess.